let's see here. I'm going to try to get this so that you guys can see everything that I'm doing. So I am, okay, sorry about that. I'm doing like 3 things at once. So leather lady here, we're going to talk today about leathers. I'm doing this because I am getting a lot of orders for leathers, and if you don't know what a leather is, I'm going to show you that here. But also too, I'm getting people that don't understand how we make leathers, but also too how they need to measure leathers. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. I am going to do this live, and then I'm going to go ahead and edit it and record it so that it can be, I can add a few things here and there, pictures, so that you can see a little bit better, things like that. So I just wanted to come on live. I haven't been on for quite a while. It's been crazy. We put ourselves on Etsy, and it has been just growing. And sheepskin products are just booming. So it must be the season to have sheepskin. I am in the shop, and it's very hot. So bear with me here. I look a mess. And that's just the way I look when I'm working in the shop. So no makeup, no nothing. You get me raw, guys. So we're going to talk about leathers, okay? So leathers on a Western saddle, this is what we're talking about. They come in different sizes. They come in different lengths, different widths, depends on the saddle maker, depends on, you know, if it's a barrel racing saddle, or it's just how tall you are. If it's a custom made, they may ask you, you know, how tall you are so that you know how long the leathers are. Most average leathers are going to be, I'm in the process of making some, but the gentleman's got to get back to me because I'm not going to send them until I have accurate measurements, because these are custom made for you. And once we punch the holes and mail them to you, they're yours, because you have to give me the accurate measurements. I had somebody give me measurements and they were mad, and I have you send me a picture, because I want to make sure you get something that you need and use. With it's a lot of money that you spend, and horses are expensive, so I'm trying to save you guys money. That kind of a thing. We can send a leather that is no holes. And the best thing that I do for you is I ask you what color you want them dyed, what width do you want. We use a 10-ounce leather. It's a veg tan leather. These are not dyed yet. These are going to be dark brown. But then I will send and sell you a hole punch set. Or I can actually mark them to where you tell me the holes are, but I don't like to punch them, because if you're off and you get that blevin all measured up and you're like, oh, it's just like an 1/8 inch off, then your holes are not going to match. So there, you can get you can just order them yourself, and if you have the hole punches and you know how to do it, you can punch them yourself, or you can buy the hole punch kit with it. And we can just send that with you, and you can put your blevins up there and measure it and do it yourself. Do it yourself leathers kind of a thing. But that is something that you can do. Now, what I'm going to share with you, because a lot of people do not know, there is vertical holes and there are horizontal holes. And I'm going to talk about that here too. So and the reason why there isn't really a standard leather, you can go online and you can order leathers, but they may not fit your blevin, or you're going to have to buy a new blevin to make sure that that fits. And unfortunately, blevin makers, there's usually just one in the United States that makes them all. He was way behind there for a couple of years. But there's only a few blevin makers, unless it's a custom saddle. Now that custom saddle maker may have somebody else making their blevins. In the old days, when they were making saddles, they would use, let me see here, I've got a couple, you know, throwaway saddles that I use for samples. Let me see if I've got this. Yeah, so they would use a buckle. Okay, when I record this, I'll do zooms and all that kind of stuff so you can watch it again. But they would just rivet, and these are a star riveted on. They would rivet on a buckle, and then that would be whole, you know, go ahead and do the holes. It's actually not a bad idea, because then you don't have to worry about you know, the blevins, making sure they fit, make sure they don't fit, and everything like that. But this again, you have to look at this. I didn't grab a ruler, so let me grab a ruler. The thing is that, again, in my glory, guys, this is how I work. But you know, this one here is probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches. 2 inch, okay, so 2 inch. The older saddles do use 2 inch. There is 2.5 inch width leathers. There's 3 inch width leathers. So you have to know what thick or what width you need, okay? Most leathers are gonna come about 60 to 66 inches. If you're really tall, you need to say, hey, I need a longer leather because I'm like 6'4", 6'3", something like that, and that may not work for you. You might put it down to the very last hole, and then it's still too short, you know, so those kind of things. So, and what I'm talking about is, so if you look at these holes are considered horizontal holes, okay? This one here, and I've only got a couple old saddles to show you, and this one here is horizontal holes. This one has an old blevin in it, okay? So if I were to make a leather that is 2.5 inches wide, but has this size of blevin or this, see, it doesn't work. So when we make custom leathers, we have to know exactly what it is that you're using, or it's just best to sell you the punches and you measure it up to your blevins and punch the holes yourself. To be honest, it's much better and easier for you because, again, I'm going to show you some other blevins. The reason why, okay, so that's a horizontal, okay? So this is a horizontal holes, okay? And the way that vertical holes are, I don't know if I have another one. I think I had problems getting this out last time. Hang on a second. I did. I had to sell another set, so this one is super, super, super tight. And it's not, it's the edges. The posts are up and down. They're this way. So this is a vertical blevin. So you have to know what you're ordering or you want made. You can do this yourself. You can make your leathers yourself. You just say, hey, Patty, I want a 2.5 inch. It's on our website. It's on Shopify now. It's on Etsy as well. But it's you just want to say, I want a 2.5 and I need vertical holes. And then we'll contact you because we need to have the measurements. Or you can just say, I just want the tools. Give me a thing. I just want the hole punches, kind of a thing. But you've got two different kinds of blevins. Now this one here would fit this little 2 inch, okay? But it also has a leather outside. You can also get them with a metal outside, okay? Other things about your blevins on your leathers, this one is a 4-post with a 3 inch, okay? So you have all different kinds of, I've got so many, and your sheath covers for your blevins, or you can just get them, you know, with a metal one and put the leather on yourself if you wanted to do that. This is not common so much as just your 2-post horizontals, okay? I've been going through blevins like no tomorrow. Yeah, these are both 4-post. So I've been doing a lot of leather work, a lot of leather work. So, so that's one thing that you'll want to know as far as that. So you really have to, when you're going to make your own leathers or do your own leathers, you really have to know what blevin you're going to use, or maybe you choose to use that buckle wherever it went. That's the blevin. Or maybe you want to use the buckle idea and do it that way. Either way. And on the end of your, there is a video that I did on, I think it's a really short one, on how to thread your leathers. Most leathers are starting their holes at about 2 inches from the end. Some will start, this one here is 2 inches, some will start 3 inches from the end, and then they're 2 inches apart. Okay? Doesn't mean they have to be that way. Maybe you want them 1 inch apart. Maybe you want them 3 inches apart. That's up to you, depending on how often you change your stirrups. If you're riding, somebody's really short, and then the next person who gets on is really tall, you're changing the holes a lot. You know, maybe you just need a half of a hole. You don't need that whole hole. So it all just depends on what you want as far as your holes. Again, the other thing too is you want these holes in the center. So you usually give yourself 1/8 of a 1/4 inch from the edges before you start those holes. So like this gentleman who wanted these leathers, he said, I need a 2.5 inch leather. And I said, okay, send me a picture with the ruler across here. And then I need to know also from the edge, put your ruler there, and then put the ruler from hole to hole so that I can see. But he sent me one with a tape measure all the way across, and I couldn't tell half of the stuff. I mean, because it's like 1/8 off, or it's a 1/4 off, or it's a 5/16 off, and that makes a huge difference when you're placing these holes on these leathers. So I asked him, I need to do that, but then when I'm looking at the picture, his leathers were only 1 3/4 inches wide. So this is why I do this video, is because you have to know your equipment. And even though you might say, and sometimes I do it, is that thingamajiggy, you know, that long thingamajiggy, the thing with the holes in it, you know, that kind of a thing. Some people do that, and I'll just say, what part of the saddle is that? Oh, you know, the thing that goes around the stirrup, that thing. Oh, the stirrup leather. And oh, yeah. So knowing your parts is sort of helpful to the person repairing, just so we don't mess up. But you can always text or email. Photographs say a ton. I had a lady today send me a photograph of her English saddle, and the seat part had bumps all on it, and I'm going to be doing a video on that, or just a posting on that. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, you might want to do that, because it might be just a posting with the pictures, because I don't have a saddle I'm working on that has this issue, but it is an issue that she's going to have to replace her seat. So if you're riding in any saddles and your seat, especially if it's a smooth, like calfskin, mostly English saddles are this way, and it's starting to get real bumpy, this is the issue of it. And unfortunately, that's probably about a $1,200 starting to replace that seat. When we have to replace the seat of an English saddle, you have to take the whole thing apart down to the tree in order to replace it. So I mean, $1,200 might be even low anymore. So but let's get back to the Western saddle leathers. So that is sort of a key thing. The other thing too about your leathers, if you're, you know, people say, well, can I keep using this one? Is this one good? Should I order a new one? The way that you can tell on your leathers, especially if you're wanting to replace your own leathers, it's going to be a bugger for you if you don't know how to thread it through the tree. So watch that video. Or subscribe, because I'll be having another video come up. But you really want to look at your old leathers, because maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine and you're just like, well, it looks ugly, and do I need it? What I would do was I would look and I would bend it for cracks. Okay, this one is starting to deteriorate. There's lots of cracks. It's still in good shape, but because this is a key element for your stirrups, if this were to rip, then you could lose your stirrup, and that, if you're in a gallop mode, or you know, doing some other stuff, it might be dangerous if you're cutting, or if you're doing all kinds of stuff, reining, and I wouldn't be say reining, but if you're cutting, if you're, you know, cowboy kind of stuff. And again, and I'll bring up, when I record this, I'll bring it in editing, and you'll be able to see this closer, but this is literally deteriorating. So why is this deteriorating? Is because, one, it was not taken care of. Two, depends on where the cut of the cow they did this from. Most are from the back because that is your strongest leather. You don't do it from the belly. This is probably a 10 to 11 ounce leather. But this is beginning to split. Okay. It's still usable. If they were to condition it and oil it, you could use it still for a while, but this would be sort of like what you would, a doctor would tell you, you know, hey, it's not bad yet, but you want to get this done soon, you know, kind of a thing. Because it's safety. It's all about safety. I'm all about safety. All right. So definitely want to do that. And the thing is with your, also with your leathers, as you can see, they get threaded through your tree, so they need to be extra long. So if somebody tells me I need a 40-inch or 30-inch length leather, I'm like, do you have kids? Because that would be for a kid. Because you have to put your blevin on, and then you also have to put your holes, and you'll put them up as far as you want to go if you want to put holes up. I usually put 12 lines, 10 to 12 lines, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one has 8, depending again on the saddle and what they're using it for. Maybe they've got several people using it, and that kind of a thing. And then you have your fender layer here, and then you attach your leathers to that fender. You can use either rivets, you can use, these are star rivets, which star rivets can be good, but they tend to begin to rot out, but they use those in the old days quite a bit. All right, so leathers, I wanted to come on and do that, show you some of the different blevins, why it is really imperative when you order leathers from me to know your measurements, or we will say, hey, we will be happy to send you the leathers, you know, 2.5-inch or 3-inch leathers, with the hole punch. And all you need is a hammer, and there is a video on punching holes. And I will tell you on this video really quick, because if you are doing this and you are punching holes, there's a trick to punching holes on what you need to do. And I'll put that sort of towards the end, just because it's not really relative of the blevins and the leathers. But that is just something that you want to be aware of. And like I said, I'm doing this video just because I'm getting a lot of orders for leathers, and the people don't know, really. They think, oh, I just get a standard leather and it's got holes. No, there is no standard really blevin. Okay, your blevins are it's like rings. Rings are a million kinds of rings. There's a million kinds of leather blevins, just because different makers, different time frames, different, you know, in the early 1900s, they do things differently. So there isn't really a set blevin. So that's why we ask for photographs a lot. You can text and email photographs. You can send us questions. I'm answering emails personally every day, all day. People are like, wow, you answer fast. Well, I'm on my business, and this is my livelihood, so I want to make sure you're getting what you need. Everybody wants it yesterday anyway, so this is why I do this fairly, you know, quickly. I try to get the orders out to you quickly. We are designing and developing a lot of new products out. I'm just in the process. I'm getting a lot of orders for cinch buckle protectors. We put real fleece on the back. Some of them we put a medical tan or a medical grade sheepskin on the back. We're now in the process of designing and developing English and Australian buckle sheepskin covers, so that to protect the buckles, because when you have your endurance saddles or you have a Australian saddle, they're separate. They're not like an English saddle billets, but these will work for an English saddle billet, because if it's needed, because we'll have two different sizes. We'll have 1 inch, and then we'll have 2 inch in width. and you'll be able to do that. And those you'll be able to get, and I think in 3 different colors. So we're designing that. We're designing an English seat cover. So if you do have an English saddle and it is split on the seams, or if it is doing what this saddle is, like bubbling like this other person's saddle, rather than having it redone for 1,500, 2,000, then what you can do is put this cover on. It will stay put, and it can look similar to the saddle, or we can dress it up with maybe ostrich, maybe with embossed alligator, those kind of things. So we're having fun designing and developing horse equipment for you guys. I love your comments. I can't see them right now because my guys are not that great, but I will read them here shortly. And I deeply apologize. It's 90 degrees in my shop right now, but I felt a need to come on and talk about the leathers because there's a lot of misunderstanding about them. There seems to be a need for leathers and parts, saddle parts. We do saddle strings, we do threads, we do, gosh, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of things that we do. And if you have a need, or you're like, hey, I can't find this, let us know, because it might be something that needs to be made, and we are glad to do horse equipment for you guys. That kind of a thing. Let me see if I can read out what you guys are saying. I want a custom saddle like red, dead revenue edition cowboy to fit, also lever action rifle, and I want a weather pocket on the saddle for. Okay. Hi guys. Hi. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. One thing about me is I have a hard time with doing leather work because I am a master duplicator. I can duplicate pretty much anything, but when it comes to I like to design and develop, but when it comes actually to putting things together, my patience, I don't know if it's me getting older, is harder. It's just harder, but I love it. I mean, this is what I do. This is sort of like something we're developing here that we designed, kind of a thing. So it is well, it's in the works, but it is a card holder, a vertical credit card holder kind of a thing that we're working on and putting that together and having fun doing that. So you can zip it up and it's all kind of thing. I don't do a lot outside of saddle work because unfortunately I have a day job. And I would love to quit my day job, guys. So give me more subscribers, get the people going on here so that I can, or give me the orders, one of the two, so that I can leave my day job. I mean, it's in the works, but we're working on that. And we're also working on getting a new store open so that we can have more educational time. As for your saddle that you want, I could make a saddle. I don't want to make a saddle. There are phenomenal saddle makers out there. I don't know a lot. I don't plug for people a lot. I do know I have gotten things from Freckers. They're phenomenal saddle makers. Definitely that might be a person or company that you want to check into for that. Rifle scabbards, holsters, things like that, we will do them if you know what you want. And if you want them tooled, what kind of tooling and things like that. I actually have one coming in right now. I'm doing a police officer's pancake holster right now. But yeah, so definitely would do all kinds of things for you. And if you have any questions, please, or if you want to see a video on something, please go ahead and ask or put a comment or whatever, because I don't know a lot. Hello. I don't know a lot what you guys need to know. So the next video I'm going to be doing is on holes, and I'll give you a tidbit of that just for a second, because a lot of people punch holes incorrectly. And I remember the very first video I did about punching holes into something, somebody came back at me because I didn't have a punching board and I had put it on a piece of metal, and they're like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna ruin your hole punch. And I was like, I know, but I have a whole bunch of them. But it was a wrong thing to do. I get it, because somebody else is gonna go do it on metal, kind of a thing. But but definitely, I'll show you a trick because, for example, on this leather here, let's use this buckle for example, and you can imagine this to be your blevin, and it could be just pegs, you know, just your normal pegs, like this one here. Like, I don't know if you can see that, like pegs. When you are making your holes, what I do, in fact, I'm just doing a bunch of leathers or billets for endurance saddle. So this is my bucket of hole punches. So what I do is I try to look for, on your hole punches, if you're going to punch your blevins, and what I do is I try to find the hole punch that is, where is it? I go and I take my hole punch and I see if it can go into this. Okay, so that is probably the size I would use. However, here's the trick, and a lot of people do not know this. When you do that, it's like, oh, okay, that's the right size. You know, you might like, oh, well, I want it one size bigger. Well, depending on what you're doing, but you don't want that flopping around. Even in your peg, you don't want that flopping around in the hole because your blevin might come loose. But the thing is, a lot of people don't know this because when you're doing your holes, you, depending on how thick your leather is, like I said, this is probably 10 ounce, somewhere around there. And if you're going into 11, 12, 14 ounce, when you pound that in, because if you look at the shape of that, it's at an angle, right? Okay? I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's at an angle. So as you go into that leather, if you're using a thicker leather, it's going to make that hole bigger. It's going to make it a lot bigger. And so you want to make sure that you take one size down than what you really want. Okay, so yes, this fits it perfectly, and I may use it depending on the thickness of my leather. The more thicker the leather, I'm going to go down a size in my hole, because when I go to punch it, it's going to be this size. I hope that makes sense. I hope that wasn't too confusing. And then again, here's another thing. You would normally punch your holes in your leathers prior to dyeing. A lot of people dye their leather and then they'll punch their holes. Well, there's a problem with that. For one, if you dye your leather, now I'll use a dip in this. I'll be dipping them and running them through. But the problem is if I do that and then I don't have my holes in there, two things. I'll punch my holes after, and you're going to have this color of a hole. You want to have that dye through the whole thing, but then when it dries, it does shrink a hair. Okay, this is skin. So you have to remember, if you're using an alcohol dye, it's going to make it harder. The leather is going to become harder, so you have to condition it, you have to oil it. Oh, that's another video I have to do because people are asking me to do a cleaning. They're getting so confused. One person says one thing, once a person says another, and they're like, could you please just do a cleaning video on how you do it? And I'm like, okay, I can do that, because I get so many saddles to clean and condition. It's unreal. But again, when you dye these, it's going to become hard. Those holes will gradually shrink a hair. So you want to make sure that your hole size fits. Okay, so again, when you order a leather and you say, I just want you to sell me the hole punch kit, just remember, I'm giving you 10 ounce leather. You probably want to do the same size as your peg, like you want to put that in there and say, okay, well, this is too small, so I need the next size up, because you want to do that, because then you will know that you're going to have extra room. You need a little bit extra room. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, it make me blush. But you want to make sure, because if you tell me you have a, say you have a brand new Blevin, and I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, okay, that's going to be a normal standard hole, and you get it and it's not, then you're going to be frustrated because you can't use that dag burn leather. So you want to be able to know your hole size as far as, you know, if you're going to punch them yourself. Okay. And I think that's really, I'm going to give you the honest, bottom, god awful truth. I can do the leathers for you, not a problem. But I think the best thing, so that you don't waste your money, you don't waste your time, you don't waste our time trying to get you a product and then it doesn't work. I feel horrible when that happens. I feel really bad when that happens. And so what you want to do is maybe, and if you're having problems, call me up or text me, hey, can we do a FaceTime? Can you show me how to do this? Yeah, I do a lot of workshops. If you want to learn something, I do workshops online and in person. And so if you need something and you want to learn a tool or a trade or whatever, not a trade, but a technique, then shoot me an email. We'll set up a Zoom or a FaceTime on the phone or whatever works for you, because I know that some people are in the country and the internet is sort of jiggly jaggly kind of a thing. So that I'm not opposed of doing that. You know, and if it's going to cost you $10 or $20 to do that, in the long run, you know what? Instead of just giving you the fish, I taught you how to fish, and you can do it yourself, and you can teach somebody else and teach somebody else. Because this is a dying art, guys. This is why I am wanting to open my school, and hopefully by October, I'm crossing my fingers, to teach, because we need to do that. We need to start teaching people. With AI coming up, trades are going to be really, really important. Really important. We need to teach our young people a trade so that they can make money and feed their families and that kind of a thing. So anyway, I'm getting off track. But, you know, don't be afraid. If you watch this and you have some questions, please ask. I answer every comment, every question that you can. If you want to order leathers, again, we have our website, we have Etsy, we have Shopify, we have eBay. I don't like eBay, but we are on there. That kind of a thing. If you need sheepskin, now we sell sheepskin by the pelts. We sell seashells by the seashore. I can't talk today. We sell it by, you know, scraps by the pound. We sell, if you need a shearling to redo the underside of your saddle, we do that. I mean, you just have whatever your need is in the equestrian world. If I don't have it, I will find it for you. All right. I just realized what t-shirt I had on. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You can tell what my day job is. All my shirts are like this. But anyway, so yeah. So I appreciate you coming on. I know I went off topic a few times, but it is really necessary to know the measurements of what it is. Now, lastly, okay, because I probably will chop this video up when I go to edit it. Lastly, when you go and you measure your holes, please measure your Blevins or your holes from center to center of your holes, okay? Because it can be just a hair off and that Blevin is not going to fit, or that buckle is not going to fit. Because if you look at the buckle, they're certain width apart, it's not going to fit. So then you're going to have to go in and punch a bigger hole, which is a pain in the butt. So measurements, you're going to measure from the edge to the edge of that first hole. So I know that that is going to be, this one here is 5/16 of an inch. Then we're going to measure from the center of this hole to the center of that hole, and we're looking at 3/4 of an inch, okay? And then we're going to measure completely across so that I know you know what you're ordering, that it's a 2 inch, 2.5 inch, 1 3/4 inch, that kind of a thing. I need to know that. The other thing you will find, that what we do that nobody else does, when we send you a leather, if we're cutting the point out, if you watch my video on how to thread a leather, you're going to see a hole in the end. And you can always just slice that off if you don't like it. But that is going to make your life a million times easier if you know how to thread with either the hole in the end, so you can use a piece of whatever you got. I use, you know, leather scraps and stuff, like a strip of leather. And you will be able to thread that through so quickly. Otherwise, you're going to give yourself a nightmare, and you are going to be cussing up words that you never thought that you had, trying to get this leather through, because this leather, you're going to have to, and go to the threading video, but you're going to have to remove all this here in this saddle. You're going to have to take the conches off, take the screw off. You're going to have to pull this back, and there's a slot in there, but then you've got to make sure you get that up and around there. So that's why we do the hole, because as soon as you can thread that one piece of rope or whatever you put there, you're just going to go, and it's done. Trust me, oh my God, when I first started doing this, somebody said, use a hanger, use this, use that. And I was like, oh my God, Lord Jesus. And we would get up in there. I had two people doing it, and one's holding the saddle down, one's pushing. It was a nightmare. What you learn as you grow old. It's funny. It's funny. Okay, yeah, belt. You know what? Belt blanks are the same. You know, when we sell a belt blank, thank you so much for the compliments. I appreciate it. Belt blanks are the same. We can sell you a belt that has the snaps on the end, that is just a plain belt blank. We can, you know, put holes in it for you. But, you know, we do a lot of DIY, guys. There's DIY kits of all kinds that you want. You know, there's bags, there's belts, there's the horse stuff. We do even horse stuff. Make your own spurs. These are things that we design. Make your own spurs. Make your own nose band for your horse. Make your own breast collar. Make your own halter. Those kind of things. At Christmas time, this is a really good thing to give to somebody. But we do things that are fun. We do things for the kids. You'll see us starting to get the gift things out. DIYs are, if you know somebody that wants to learn leather, phenomenal way to learn. And we can do what we can do. There's two ways you can do it. Just for the loved ones, or, you know, somebody saying, I need a new hobby. Again, we need to learn and teach these people coming up behind us, because AI is going to take over so much. They need a trade. They need a when you got Google's grandfather who's in safety saying, I would go tell my son to be a plumber. It's a trade, because a lot of these other jobs are going to go away. So we need to teach people. DIYs are phenomenal. That's why I do them online and in person. But you can buy a DIY kit. You can also add a 2-hour or 1-hour workshop. But the thing is, we can sell a tool so we can help you learn it, so you get excited to make something you want, whatever your passion is, whether it be knife sheaths, guns, you know, maybe you want archery, maybe Renaissance, maybe costuming, things of that nature. And that's what our school is going to be all about. So definitely DIY kits if somebody really wants to get started, because it has everything in it. And then you just, you know, need the tools, which we can actually make a package and put the tools in and that kind of a thing too. So definitely. And belts are a phenomenal way to learn, because you learn how to bevel. If you're getting the belt blank itself, you learn how to bevel, you can tool on it, you learn how to dye, you learn how to stain, you learn how to put tan coat and make things lighter and darker, you learn how to put holes in it, you learn how to put snaps on the end or rivets on the end. Belts are a phenomenal way to start. And you know what? It's July, great time to start for Christmas gifts, guys. Great time to start for Christmas gifts. I hate to say that, but it's so true. How about a Halloween gift? How about a Thanksgiving gift? How about anniversary or birthday? So we're not thinking about Christmas already. But again, I hope this was helpful in some way for you. But again, I'm getting a lot of leathers, and so I want to share. And no matter what part of the saddle that you are needing, the best thing to do, whether you get it from me or a saddle maker or anything or anybody else, if you don't know the names, that's fine. Just send a picture and tell them what you want done. A lot of the times I get old saddles. People have them sentimentally. Like this last one, it was her grandfather's. It wasn't it was a McClellan from the Civil War time, and they didn't take care of it. It was in the attic for over 60 years. And what was it, the Civil War, whatever war that was. But it was so bad, so hard. You're not going to bring that leather back. It's like, can we, soften the leather? I'm sorry, it's dead. The leather is so hard as a rock, you cannot bring it back. There's at a certain point where you can, and then if you soak it in oil, you can ruin it even more. So lots of things to learn about saddle parts, saddles, but this can pertain to any kind of leather. We don't do wallets and purses and things like that, but it can pertain to a lot of that. Because you have to learn how to bevel, you have to learn how to skive, you have to learn how to do all that kind of stuff. Same as a belt. Great way to start. Great way to start. So, oh, well, thank you. So, I hope this was helpful. Didn't mean for it to be this long. However, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, the website is The Leather Lady LLC. And my other YouTube channel is Saddle Repair and Restoration. So that's mainly just saddles and repair and restoration. This one has we do wine carriers. We do like a dual wine carrier. We have a wine cork tray. It's a whole set. We have coasters. We do things of that nature just for fun to get away from the leather stuff. So that one is called, I think you have to go on YouTube and use the @ and Saddle Repair and Restoration, and you'll see it pop up. It's, I think, a black saddle with turquoise strings, something like that. And subscribe there. It helps out the channel. But again, please share this if you think this is helpful in any way for your friends, your families. Reach out to me if there's anything I can do. Go on our website, check out all our sheepskin. Sheepskin right now for the summer is on sale. We do sheepskin airplane seat covers. We do sheepskin car covers, car seat covers. We do motorcycle. We do all that kind of stuff. So go on the website, check it out. If you want to go on Etsy, check that out. There's not as much on Etsy yet because that's a new thing I was testing out. Everything is on the website, okay? And same with, I think eBay's, I took some stuff off. But a lot of sheepskin, adding sheepskin to your tack, we do that. But sheepskin is really becoming good, and I'll probably do another video on that as well, because the benefits of real sheepskin, and I can tell most of the saddles that come in that are older have that fake sheepskin. It's crap. It doesn't do your horse any good. It's not good. You should have real sheepskin. So if we refleece, we do not use any artificial. It is actually really top grade shearling. So, all right. All right, guys, I am going to try to cool down now. This 90-degree shop, I'm done. So have a wonderful night. Looks like it's about dinner time now. Enjoy your evening, and I really do hope that was helpful. And we will see you on, we say in the old days, the flip side. Take care. Bye-bye. Now how do I turn this off?